Hi, I am Yadikri Rao. So we are learning the thermodynamics lesson. In today's class, we shall do some problems on the first law of thermodynamics, followed by heat changes at constant volume and heat changes at constant pressure, enthalpy, and heat capacities. So these are the topics we are covering in the today's class. Now, let's look at the problems. Calculate delta E for each of the following. There are three problems, and the problem D is based on the problems A and B and C. Now, let's work on the problem A. Problem A, it is given Q is negative 47 kilojoules and work is positive 88 kilojoules, and we should find out delta E. So delta E is required in this problem. So the equation that is relating these three factors is first law of thermodynamics, that is delta E is equal to Q plus W. So what is the Q here? Negative 47 kilojoules plus 88 kilojoules. That gives us positive 41 kilojoules. So heat here is the change in internal energy positive, means system is gaining the energy. Why? Here system is losing the energy of 47 kilojoules, but it's gaining the energy of 88 kilojoules in the form of work. So overall there is a net 41 kilojoules of gain of energy for the system. Next, let's do the problem B. What is given here? Heat is given 82 kilojoules positive, that means heat is supplied to the system, and work is negative 47 kilojoules. So heat system is taking the heat of 82 kilojoules and doing the work of 47 kilojoules. Basically, if you understand in a real-time world, you are taking 82 kilojoules of energy, spending 47, remaining stays with you. So here the formula, if we use, that is delta E equal to Q plus W. What is the Q here? 82 kilojoules minus 47 kilojoules. So 82 minus 47, how much is that? That is around 35. So positive 35 kilojoules of energy. So that is our problem B. Now let's go to the problem C. The problem C, if you see, heat absorbed by the system is 47 and there is no work done. That simply remains in the system only. That is Q is 47 kilojoules and system is not doing any work. Then delta E is equal to 47 kilojoules plus 0. That gives delta E is equal to simply 47 kilojoules gain. Why? It is coming into the system and system is not performing any work, and also it is not receiving any energy in the form of work. Therefore the internal energy is changed, just the heat received from the surroundings, that is 47 kilojoules. And what is the problem D? In which of these cases do the surroundings do work on the system? Surroundings doing the work on the system means for system it is gain and for surroundings it is loss. So here surroundings doing work on the systems means from system's point of view work should be positive. So where do we have a work positive here? If you see clearly here, work is positive here. System is taking the work, and in the second case it is negative. So that means system is performing the work on the surroundings. The third case there is no work. So what is the answer here for the problem D? For the problem D, the answer is very simple. The surroundings are performing the work on the system in problem A. In problem A, system is receiving the work from those surroundings. Now, let's go to another problem. A system undergoes a process consisting of the following two steps. Step 1. The system absorbs 72 joules of heat while 35 joules of work is done on it. That is the first step. Second step, the system absorbs 35 joules of heat while performing 72 joules of work. Calculate delta E for the overall process. So how do we do this problem? We do this problem in a two-step manner. So let's find out what is the internal energy change delta E for the step 1, and then we find the delta E for step 2, and just we sum them, we get delta E change for the overall process. Now let's do for the step 1. Step 1. So system absorbing, that means Q is positive here. While 35 joules of work done on it, again system is receiving the work, that means that is also positive. And what is the formula for delta E? Delta E is equal to Q plus W, so that's equal to 72 joules plus 35 joules. That will give you 107 joules of energy change for the system. Now, what is the energy in the step 2? Energy change of system. So here system absorbing 35 kilojoules. Therefore, Q is equal to positive 35 joules while it is performing the work of 72 joules. System is performing the work. Therefore, your work is negative term. And what is the internal energy change? That is equal to Q plus W, positive 35 minus 72 joules. So that will give you negative 37 joules. So we have found delta E in step 1 and step 2. And what is the problem here? Calculate delta E for the overall process. Delta E for the overall process is delta E in step 1 plus delta E in the step 2. That is 107 kilojoules. Sorry, only joules, not kilojoules. Minus 37 joules. Therefore, overall there is a gain of 70 joules of energy. So that much internal energy increases from these two steps in the system. Let's go to the problem 3. If the internal energy of a system is increased by 300 joules while 75 joules of expansion work is done. So here is the catch point. Expansion work. Expansion work means system is expanding, means system is doing the work. Therefore here work is negative term. How much is that? Negative 75 joules. And internal energy of a system is increased by 300 joules. Therefore system energy is increasing. That should be positive term. How much heat was transferred? Here system is losing 75 joules of energy as it is doing the work. Then how can it improve the 300 joules of energy? It can only be done by gaining the heat. So therefore let's use the formula delta E equal to Q plus W. So what is the delta E here? 300 joules, and we are going to find out this term Q. And what is the W here? Plus of minus 75, that means it is 75 joules. Now Q equal to 300 joules. So how do we get here? So let's add 75 on both sides. So right side what happens? 75, 75, sorry. This negative 75, positive 75 cancels out. We have only Q on the right side. And left side 300 joules plus 75 joules. That gives us 375 joules. So this is the positive term. Okay, better we do the mathematics in a clear way so that we can avoid the mathematics. Now I can write left side I have 375 joules, the right side I have a Q. Therefore Q equal to positive 375 joules. What does it mean here? System is receiving the 375 joules of energy, and from that it is spending 75 joules of energy in the form of work, and finally it retains 300 joules of energy. That is why its internal energy is increased by 300 joules. So that is the problem 3. Now let's go to the problem 4. What is the problem 4 here? Calculate the internal energy for each of the following. Problem A 100 joules of work are required to compress a gas. At the same time, the gas releases 23 kilojoules of heat. That's the problem here. Let's solve the problem here. What is that? 100 joules of work is required. So therefore work required means performing the work on the system to compress. So this is a catch point. Compress surroundings, doing the work on the system so that system, which is the system here, gas undergoes compression. Therefore it is positive term. At the same time, the gas releases 23 joules of heat. It is giving away energy. Therefore heat is negative term here. Therefore what is the formula? Delta E equal to Q plus W. That is equal to negative 23 joules plus 100 joules. So answer is positive 77 joules. Next, let's do the problem B. What is the problem B here? A piston is compressed from a volume of 8.30 liters of initial volume to final volume of 2.80 liters. Therefore here I can write V1 as 8.30 liters and final volume V2 as 2.80 liters. And what is the displacement here? Delta V is equal to V2 minus V1. So that's equal to 2.80 minus 8.30. How much is this? 2.80 minus 8.30. That will give us negative 5.50 liters. So this is the volume change happened, and it is done at a constant pressure 1.90 atmosphere externally. So that means here what is the work done? And we know the work done formula is negative P external times delta V. So that's equal to negative, what is the P external? 1.9 atm atmosphere times, what is the volume change? 5.50 liters. And if we do this, we get 10.45 liter atmospheres. And what is the sign here? This negative times negative is positive. So here compression is positive work, but it is in liter atmospheres. Okay, this is the work done. And what is the problem here? The process, there is a heat gained by the system. Now heat is gained by the system, therefore Q equal to positive. How much heat is gained? That is 350 joules of heat is gained. Therefore I should say this is a plus 350 joules. What is the internal energy change? That is delta E equal to Q plus W. Now there is a problem here. The work is given in the units of liter atmospheres, whereas the heat is in joules. So we should make both these units are in the same unit. Both these energies are in the same unit. Now let's convert these liter atmospheres into uh, joules. So 10.45 liter atmospheres are there, and 1 liter atmosphere is equal to 101.325 joules. So this gives you 10.45 times 101.325 joules. So that will give us positive 158.85 joules. Now we have both heat and work in the same unit form. Therefore, what is the delta E here? Delta E equal to Q plus W. So here, what is the Q? We have positive 350 joules heat gained by the system, and it is a compression. The compression, the system is gaining the energy in the form of work, that is 1058.85 joules. And what is the overall gain? Overall gain is 1408.85 joules. This is a gain for the system. So these are the 4 problems of first law of thermodynamics. This looks very fundamental, but over the course of time we may have very difficult problems. So right now we shall stop the problems here. Now we will go into the theory. Now the topic, heat changes at constant pressure and constant value. So now I'm talking about heat change at constant value. Okay, so let's take a system. Let's take a gaseous system, a gas which is sealed in a rigid container which doesn't expand and compress. So to this, what are we doing? We are supplying some heat. Some heat is supplied from outside. So as the system is not expanding or compressing, there is no change in the value. Therefore, delta V equal to 0. Delta V 0. Therefore, what is the work here? There is no work done. P external times delta V is equal to 0. Now here heat is supplied to the system. So therefore Q is definitely a positive term here. Okay, now let's take the formula. What is the first law of thermodynamics? Delta E equal to Q plus W. Now I replace this W with negative P external times delta V. And for this process, where we are transferring the heat at constant value, this term is going to be 0. Therefore, delta E equal to Q. When the heat supplied to the system is simply change in internal energy if that process is done at constant value. Therefore, to represent the constant value process, I write V as a subscript. Therefore, delta E equal to QV. So, if the heat is, let's say for every small step, for small changes, we can replace this equation. For small changes, we can write this equation as, now I represent internal energy as U. Some books use U for internal energy, some use E. Okay, let's follow the E only. E equal to dQV. So this is the heat changes at constant volume. So heat changes at constant volume simply resulting in the internal energy change. So what we can write here, heat absorbed or really released released by a system at constant volume only results in change in internal energy. Internal energy of whom? Internal energy of the system. Internal energy of system. So this is heat change at constant value. Now another one is heat change at constant pressure. Heat change at constant pressure. You can call it heat supply to the system at constant pressure also. Now let's take a system. Of a gas. It is sealed in a vessel that has a movable piston so that system can perform the work. Now here, when system is taking the energy, so therefore Q is positive here, let's assume, and let's also assume that system is performing the work. Okay, no need for time being, let's say there is some work done, so there will be some volume changes. Delta V is definitely not 0 because this is not rigid, this is a movable piston, flexible here. So therefore what are the internal energy changes here? Delta E equal to Q minus P external times delta V. So I'm not saying expansion or compression here. For expansion, this delta V is positive, therefore the work term is negative. For compression, this delta V is negative, so that negative times negative will be positive, therefore this becomes a positive work. So here I'm not saying anything, there is some work done. Maybe you can, a system can take heat at the same time it can also receive work if you use too much pressure from the piston side. So we forget that. Right now we only use this expression. So now if I rearrange this expression, delta E plus negative P external times delta V, when it comes to the left side it becomes positive P delta V. That's going to be Q. That means heat supplied at constant pressure resulting in the delta E and also some work. This is the expression for heat supplied at constant pressure. Okay, now what I can write here, so system is moving from one state to another state, therefore initially let's say E1 internal energy and finally let's say it has E2 internal energy, therefore I can represent delta E as E2 minus E1 plus, now I can represent delta V as V2 minus V1. Then now I rewrite this equation like this, E2 minus E1 plus PV2 minus PV1. So now let's make this equation. Now I put the terms that are representing the final state together, that is E2 plus PV2 minus of E1 plus PV1. So here this one E plus PV, now let's define a new word, E plus PV as H, therefore Q equal to H2 minus H1, for Q equal to delta H. Heat supplied at constant pressure resulting in the change in term H. What is the H here? H is enthalpy. Now I can represent constant pressure process as QP. Therefore, this is the expression for heat transferred at constant pressure. What is the H? H is enthalpy. E plus PV, which is enthalpy. It is the heat content of the system, which is sum of internal energy plus the pressure volume energy. So that is known as the enthalpy, which is representing the heat content. Heat content. So system can transfer heat from its internal energy and also from its ability of having pressure and volume. So those two factors, internal energy factor and pressure value factor, both can result in heat changes. That's why heat plus PV is known as a heat content, and it is given the word enthalpy. So for a smaller changes, so that is dQP is known as dH. So this is the heat changes at constant value. Now, very important topic, next one is heat capacity. What is heat capacity? Heat capacity is a physical property of matter. So what is this one? If you have an object and you are supplying some heat to that object, if that heat, the quantity of heat that is resulting in 1 degree temperature change in that object, the heat supplied is known as the heat capacity. So that is the capacity of the object to bear with the heat, so that it can change only 1 degree temperature. If the substance has, let's say, higher heat capacity, that means we need to have more heat to raise its temperature. It has a more capacity to take in more heat. If the substance has low heat capacity, then it increases its temperature very easily. In other words, even when it loses 1 degree temperature, it loses very easily by giving off little energy, little heat. So heat capacity is basically defined as the quantity of heat required to produce a unit change in temperature. Unit change means 1 degree centigrade or 1 degree Kelvin of a given mass. So here we are not talking about the fixed quantity. So that is called a heat capacity. So if we are interested in how much heat is required to raise 1 gram of substance by 1 degree, that is known as a specific heat capacity. So this is heat capacity means for every object, some objects will have a little mass, some will have a greater mass. So heat capacity is a whole thing. There is a specific heat in that object for every 1 gram of mass, how much it is required, that is specific heat capacity. Now, C, what is the C here? So heat capacity is represented by word C. Letter C. C is heat capacity of the object, and this is equal to heat required to raise 1 degree temperature, or heat released degree centigrade is lost by the object. Okay, so it depends on how much uh, mass is there. For greater mass objects, the heat capacity is higher, and for little mass objects, provided the substance is made up of same thing in two cases. So therefore, if you want to bring a greater temperature change in that object, we need greater amount of heat transfer. Therefore, basically here, so if you want to bring a temperature change of delta T, then what is the heat is going to be? Heat is going to depend on how much temperature change we are going to bring about. So that if you remove this proportionality, we get a constant, that is C delta T. What is this C? This C is known as the heat capacity. So now here I represent C Q heat as Q equal to C delta T. So if it is delta T equal to 1, then Q equal to C. What is this definition? For a temperature change of 1 degree, the heat supplied is simply equal to C. That means heat capacity. So Q equal to C delta T is the expression. So where is the C? Where C is the heat capacity of the system. So now we have a heat changes at two conditions, two paths. One is constant volume path, another one is constant pressure path. So we learned QV, the heat supplied at constant value, that is C delta T, and heat supplied at constant pressure, that is also C delta P, C delta T. Are they same? Let us see. So Q is actually path property. This is a path property. So here also. And temperature is a state functions. So what we can infer from this? This must be a path function, because this is a state property. Therefore, we can say Q is equal to C path times delta T. C path times delta T. Now, when heat supplied at constant volume, QV is known as a CV delta T, and heat supplied at constant pressure is known as a Q equal to Cp times delta T. So how do we represent for smaller changes here? So dQV is equal to Cv dt, and for constant pressure process I write dQp equal to Cp dt. So now I can write Cv equal to dQv over dt and Cp as dQ subscript p over dt. What is Cp? Cp is heat capacity at constant volume, constant pressure, and Cv is heat capacity at constant value. Now we understood that Q is equal to integral C path times delta T. It is a path dependent, or you can call Q equal to C path delta T. So next, this is Cv and this is Cp. Let's go for one more important relation, that is proving Cp minus Cv equal to R. So we understood Cp equal to dH over dt and Cv as dE over dt. So now let's take enthalpy, which is H equal to E plus PV. Now let's do the differentiation of enthalpy on both sides, that is with respect to temperature, that is dH over dt is equal to dE over dt plus d dt of PV. And we know this one is Cp and we know this one is Cv. And now let's use this one. Take 1 mole ideal gas, and what is its equation? PV equal to RT. Now let's replace PV with RT, that gives d over dt of RT. Now it gives Cp equal to Cv, and differentiation of RT with respect to T is simply R. And what we get here? Cp minus Cv equal to R. This is the expression for 1 mole of an ideal gas. It is always equal to Cp minus Cv equal to R. And what are these Cp? Heat capacity of a gas at constant pressure, and Cv is heat capacity of gas at constant value. Now these Cp and Cv values are basically smaller for gases, but they are very large for the solids and liquids. Now what is the Cp for monoatomic gases? So Cp Cv, and the ratio is known as the Cp over Cv, which is gamma. Let's see. For the monoatomic gases, Cp is 5 over 2R and Cv is 3 over 2R. And what is the gamma here? 5R over 2 over 3R over 2. That will gives you 5 over 3, that is 1.66. For diatomic gases, this is 7 over 2R and this is 5 over 2R, and gamma is equal to 7 by 5, that gives you 1.4. And for triatomic gases, this is 4R and this is 3R, and gamma equal to simply 1.33. And this gamma value indicates what is the atomicity of the gas. So okay, now we learned the heat changes at constant pressure resulting in the internal energy change, and heat changes at constant pressure is resulting in the enthalpy change. So we learned Cv equal to delta E over delta T, and Cp as delta H over delta T. So what is indicating here? The internal energy is basically temperature dependent, enthalpy is temperature dependent. So let's prove it. Internal energy and enthalpy are only depending on temperature of the system. They are independent of pressure and value. Okay, let's take internal energy as a function of temperature and value. So if volume is covered, and volume and pressure have a relationship, therefore exclusively it depends on temperature and value. Therefore if we take the exact differential for this, that is going to be dou u over dou t at constant value times dt plus dou u over dou v at constant temperature times dV. So as we are supplying the heat at constant value, so then dV equal to 0. Therefore now du equal to simply dou u over dou t at constant value times dt.